3,000 Years of Yearning. Starring Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton. This was a master class in acting. It was a good movie, but you had two actors who are really serious about their craft. Neither one of them took not even a second to phone in one scene. They brought it. Every time the camera was on one of them or the other, it was incredible. Every time the camera was not on one of them or the other, it was usually some type of cinematic explosion of color and amazement. I really enjoyed this movie. Tilda plays a scholar who goes to Istanbul, and she is supposed to be teaching a class, but admittedly, she sees visions. Now, this is kind of iffy because she's apparently been seeing things for a while, and her imagination has been getting the better of her. So I'm wondering, is this like Total Recall? Is she really on Mars, or is she still in that chair back at Recall? You know, it's ambiguous, and it doesn't tell you if he's really a super agent or if he's just a dude named Quaid that got his mind messed up. Because she says, I've been having visions. They're realistic. And sometimes she can count down slowly to 3 and get rid of them. But the movie starts off with her counting down to 3, and this one particular vision, it's moving closer and closer and closer, and then it's right in her face, and she passes out. Something that I noticed was the vision that she had is in one of the supposed encounters with the jinn. So I'm thinking the jinn could be in her mind, because almost the entire time she's with him, almost the entire movie, it's just the two of them sitting in the living room talking to one another. 70% of the movie is that. And it was good because you would go to her, and then you would go to him, and then you would go to her, and she'd be like, here's a master class on this. And then you would go to him, and he's like, well, here's a master class on that. They're incredible. I like both of these actors. Hearing that they were going to be in a movie together, I wasn't sure it was going to be good, but seeing it, I was blown away. The main gist, the heart of the movie is he appears to her, and he's like, look, you got 3 wishes. I need you to go ahead and tell me your heart's desire, make a wish, and then I'm out of here, and I can go live my life as a genie. And she's like, no. And he's like, what do you mean, no? And she's like, nah, every single story I've ever heard of where genies ends up terrible. And she gives him an example because she tells a story. And then he's like, well, look, let me tell you a little bit about my life. And then he tells her a story. And she's like, that's very interesting. How'd you get stuck in that bottle if you're so powerful? And he's like, let me tell you another story. And they're basically telling stories. The movie itself is about these two people talking about their life experience. Now, the genie, he's been around for 3,000 years, so he's got a lot. But also, he unfortunately spent a lot of that time being a captive. So a lot of it was just him just kind of standing there, his life. So she has to convince him. He has to convince her to do a thing that she thinks ultimately is a bad idea. I'm not going to make these wishes because something bad's going to happen. You're going to twist the stuff, and I'm going to do something that I think is good, and I'm going to end up, a zombie or something like that. And he's like, no. Trust me. Do you trust someone that powerful? Maybe. maybe not. So it was really good. It's like Bram Stoker's Dracula is a love story wrapped up inside of a monster flick. This is a love story wrapped up in a new telling of the Aladdin story. It was really good. I like the way they did it. I like the script was incredible. The back and forth was, to me, was the best part of the movie. His trying to get, because I mean, think about it. You're a genie. You've got the power to do almost anything. If this person says she wants a wish, she don't say a wish. You're just kind of a dude sitting there, and that's what he was for most of the movie, because she wouldn't make a wish. So again, it evolves into a love story, and you know, Tilda, unless they did a body double, she's in pretty good shape. You know, she's like 117 years old or something like that, and physically, she's like 26. You know, she's in great shape. You know, I was surprised. It's got to be a body double. It had to be a body double. But Idris Elba is shirtless and armless through the whole movie, and he's, you know, it's Idris Elba. He's probably in great shape in real life. I don't think he had a body double, but I looked at her and I was like, nah, that can't be right. That's not right. That can't be right. Maybe it was. I mean, I don't know that woman. But seeing her on screen, I'm like, maybe not. But man, that was a good story. I like the story so much that I'm probably going to go see it again. I can't wait for it to be on HBO, Cinemax, Prime Time, whatever, so I can sit down in the comfort of my house, have a drink, a sandwich, a bag of popcorn, and just check it out right there. Rewind stuff, go slow through stuff, check it all out. That was a good movie. It was compelling. It pulled me in. It grabbed me from the moment and pulled me in. And I'm still wondering, was it all in her mind? Because really, she's the only one that honestly saw the jinn. You know, I mean, she talked about it, but nobody actually sees him, except for two other moments that could have been also possibly in her mind. I mean, because the movie starts out with her saying, I'm having illusions, and she sees a dude that's like, you know, getting closer and closer to her, that ends up being in one of the jinn stories. And I'm like, that's not a coincidence. That's the same dude. But it could have been coincidence. It could have been her imagining what the story was that the jinn was telling, and her thinking, oh, I see this and this, and maybe it wasn't what it appeared to be. I would like them to release that and tell us if it was real, if the jinn was real, and if she was, I mean, she even starts off saying, before the movie comes on, you hear her voice and she's narrating, saying, the only way you'll believe me is if I tell this story to you as if it were a fairy tale, but it's totally real. And I was like, that sounds like she doesn't really believe it. So I don't know. If it was real, I mean, it was a great story. If it was all in her head, maybe even a better story, because she imagined all of that. She's a crazy person. She falls and hits her head in the beginning of the movie. She could, for the entirety of the movie, still be laying on the floor, just imagining everything that we see. It was a good movie. It was a good concept. You've got to look at it. You got to take a step back and look at that movie. It's not just a genie with a chick. You got to catch those subtle moments where she says things like that. I've been hallucinating for months and seeing stuff. And then stuff starts happening to her. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to run into a genie. Hopefully they don't, you know, give me the magic fish or the monkey paw treatment and I end up, you know, dead at the end, or some of my old relatives come back, zombified, coming to get me. That would suck. But 3 wishes, pure, wishes that I could just say, hey, how about this? Blah, 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 blah. I think I would dig that. One of them's definitely going to be a really big lottery. The other two, I'd probably sit and think about for a little while. I hope I don't have a time limit, because I'm going to take some time and work it out. But that was a good movie. In fact, that movie was so good that I would give 3,000 Years of Yearning. And the title could be her yearning to be recognized and observed and loved, or it could be the 3,000 years of yearning that he is want to get from under the grasp of servitude. He's a jinn. This particular jinn was forced to serve a master for 3,000 years. That's gotta suck, you know? But I would give 3,000 years of yearning. 9 bags of popcorn. 9 bags of popcorn, man. You've got these two great actors there, and they're doing what they do. They're acting. There's no real big action scenes. There's magic, but there's not a lot of hocus pocus, Doctor Strange type stuff. They're just basically acting, and these two are good. They're mastered at their skills. 9 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I have to say about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? If you've seen the video, let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.